let's have a conversation with a man who we haven't chatted with in a little bit. Last week, he had meetings with the front office of the team in which he plays for. That team is the Green Bay Packers. He is the quarterback for them. He is a 4-time NFL MVP winner and the host of Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, which is now currently on its season 3. Unprecedented shit.
Yep. Unprecedented.
Fresh haircut, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers.
Yay!
Holy shit, dude. Wow. Did you just drop out of the handsome tree, bro? What the fuck? You look like you're in a cloud right now. What are you doing? Where are you at? You look great.
Can you see me clearly?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not skipping?
No. I heard there was a little bit of a thing with the phone. Now you're on a laptop. This is a little bit more sturdy, I heard.
That's the clearest I've seen you guys. I can almost see, the scars on AJ's face here.
Whoa.
Well, that's from the helmet, obviously, because he used to use his helmet as a weapon. And that thing busted down that nose, and we get to see the flatness of it right here. But when you get him in real life, there is some scar tissue built up right here. It's just like a cauliflower ear almost, but for football. It's like, oh, that fucking guy used his head as a weapon. And how could he not? Let's talk about a little bit of life. What have you been up to, man? Where have you been? How are meetings? Are you back at home? Are you traveling? What do you got going on?
Yeah, I'm back on the West Coast for a couple of days. I was out in Green Bay finishing up everything I need to finish up out there. And then I had all the conversations I wanted to have. And then got a couple of days to relax. And then things get a little busy from here.
What were your meetings like? Were these any different than your normal exit meetings? We know every player usually has an exit meeting with coordinators, coaches, and everything. Is that what you did?
Yeah, as you probably remember, AJ, mine are a little bit longer than the standard. Mike used to a lot, like 15, maybe 30 at the most minutes. I think it was 15. And, the first couple of times you'd be in there, it's like an hour. You come out, you got all the other guys waiting, pissed off because they've been sitting in that office for 45 minutes or an hour and a half. And so I usually don't meet, the day after. I usually, go in, on the Tuesday and Wednesday and have some time with all the guys. And then there's other meetings to have and conversations with certain people you want to have before you get out of the city. And people you wanted to see, I had to make sure I went over and saw the Crosbys and their awesome kids. Shout out to Molly for occasionally being the hostess with the mostest.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, I believe, or Christmas.
Really nice Thanksgiving. Really nice little celebration for Mason and his 256th consecutive game.
Oh, yeah, Iron Man. Iron Man.
Woo! But I'll tell you, when I get over there, she just totally passes the kids off, man. She's like, all right, you take them. So I'm not sure if that's how she treats the men in her life, but
that's awesome. You and her have a great relationship.
I love those kids and love the Crosbys. Such a great family. And also want to spend some time with a couple of the coaches on the staff that I'm close with and see everybody before they got out. Randall and Dave left early in the week, so I want to spend some time with them. And just kind of everything, the worst part of the season is the day after the last game, and you just want to make sure you see all the people you love and care about.
Yeah, and I think kind of put a bow on the entire season with a lot of people. Equipment room, I assume. Training room, I assume. Coaches, I assume. Gunther Kuntz. You talked to Gunther Kuntz. How'd it go? Are we talking about that right now? Or are you still in the middle of a whole process? Because the whole world, as soon as we even said that Aaron's talking to the Packers today, it was breaking news that it was taking place. Obviously our fault. Should have foreseen that. Was tired from that whole thing. That's on me for that whole thing. But it got blown. It's huge. That's a huge thing that got talked about. When you meet with them, is it good vibes? Is it future talk? Is it short? Like, what is the discussion, and how far into this process do you think you are at this moment?
First of all, I love the cowboy hat. You're looking great today. Definitely want to give you a shout out for that. And your bling too. You're rocking a lot of gold.
Yeah, dude, I wear the same thing every day, so you got to dress it up and dress it down. You know what I mean? But today,
I just don't think.
Yeah,
I haven't been able to see you clearly, I think, in weeks. So, maybe I should have done this the entire time. But on my computer, man, I can see everything really, really
Season
clearly.
4.
So.
Hell yeah.
Season 4. Season 4.
Yeah.
Always getting better.
That's crazy how that works, huh?
Thank you. That's cool. It's real. Yeah, thank you. It was a gift.
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is.
Christmas gift. First real one I've ever had in my life. So.
From who?
From the wife. Yeah, normally I'm just middle of the mall. Hey, How much is that? Sweet. $27. Give me that thing.
Big kiosk guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Had to do it. You know, Claire's got those earrings in high school still.
Oh, yeah.
Those things are $5. Big blocks on those things. Still have the hole in my ear. Will forever. Bad decision, but look cool for a week or two. You know what I mean? Yeah. But thank you for the compliment. Let's get back. This isn't about me, though. This is about you. Conversations went well. What are those? How long are they, and how do they go?
It just depends on who it's with and how much they want to talk about. You know, listen, when you played for so long, it's never just about like, oh, let's jump right into the season. You know, there's a lot of other things to get to. There's personal stuff. There's you know, other topics of conversation. But you know, we had all the conversation like we wanted to have about football for now. You know, they're not pressing for any type of specific, you know, answer, and I'm not you know, mentally or emotionally at that point to give one. You know, again, if I'm asked about it, I'll you know, respond in honesty. But this is not going to be something where I'm going to, you know, respond to a bunch of inquiries about, you know, what are you thinking this week, or what are you thinking next week, or where you at? You know, it's just it's get away from it mentally, and then and emotionally, and then physically as your body starts to come back after a few weeks of TLC. Then I think you're in a better frame of mind to, you know, to contemplate your future.
What is it? Full commitment to a season? Is that what it is? It like wanting to get back into all of that, the Groundhog's Day, the grind, the full to win a Super Bowl? What all it is full encompassing? Is that what the vast thought is? And that's why it's probably difficult to make that decision quick, because it's huge.
Yeah, for sure, Pat. I think it's that on my side, and then you got to remember there's two sides to this. So what is going on the other side? You know, where are we at roster-wise, focus, long-term, short-term, all those things.
Go ahead, AJ.
How long does this process take? Do you have any idea? I think I've told Pat, like, I think you'll know when you know. You can't set a date, whatever. I don't know if you got to go to Peru. I don't know what you have to do. But what's that process look like, and how do you get it started?
Holy shit. Are we doing another
You got to set your intention, right? Set your intention before you go in.
Well, there won't be another sitting and ceremony before the decision, I can tell you that.
Okay,
but perhaps after. Perhaps
Put on the
after.
ticker.
Okay.
Put on the ticker.
Put on the ticker. Ayahuasca after decision. Yeah. Put it on there. Celebration, whatever the decision.
No, listen. Look, I think you have a feeling where you're leaning, but there's a lot of things that come into play. You know, I think just on my side, it's the physical part, it's the emotional part, it's the spiritual part, it's the ability to go back out there and give it 100%. You know, it's also the situation and where the team is at, and the focus moving forward, short term, long term, and then you know, that just comes down to the intuition and what it feels like in your body and what it feels like in your mind. And once you commit, then you commit and you move forward, whatever the decision is. So, you know, I just need some time right now. I don't need to ask anybody to respect my time or whatever. I just that's going to be the answer until I'm ready. And when I'm ready to give my opinion, like I was last year, I'm either all in or I'm out.
So Steve Young did something on Monday Night Football and the Kickoff Show, and then he did it on the Let's Go podcast, Tom Brady's podcast on Sirius XM. He talked about how retirement is this impossible thing to do whenever you're at the stature that you were at, that Tom is at, that Steve was at, that a lot of these quarterbacks, right? The quarterback position in football is held to a much higher standard, regard, and criticism than any other position in sports, more specifically football for sure. So whenever you decide to retire after your entire being something, because that's what it's going to ask for, but it is also going to give back fully to you as well, that can be a tough thing to kind of negotiate. And Tom said that's exactly right whenever Steve said it. Are you experiencing a lot of the same things as everybody else that is at your stature of football in the NFL when it gets to this type of deal, or is it just you kind of have your own feel through it all?
Well, I mean, as you like to say, I'm a hippie. You know, I've done things my own way. And that's why I've loved this show, is to be able to have great conversations and to show different sides of my personality that you know, highlight the fact that I'm not just a robotic, repeating, one-track, single-minded, zero-balanced athlete. You know?
Stitch.
And because of that, you know, I think you have to have the right perspective. If you find your complete identity in your sport or in your job, this goes for myself or anybody. I think when that is taken away or lessens or diminishes or alters in any way, that can be a major jarring experience for your psyche, your ego, your life as you know it. And that's just not really been where I've been at, especially the last few years. So I find a lot of joy and contentment in playing my sport. I love competing. I'm so thankful for this game and what it's given me, the friendships, not just with guys like yourselves, but with all the teammates I've played with over the years and guys I've competed against and gotten to know. I'm so thankful for that. But I'm also interested in a lot of other things, and a lot of other things take my time. And although you might not ever fill that big competitive hole completely, it's like I've said, at some point the carousel ride stops and it's time to get off. And I think we all have to be ready for that because you never know when that could happen. You could want to play 3 or 4 more years, and it could be one play that could change the course of your career. And it can't be so jarring that you just can't pick up the pieces and move on and have a life that's fulfilling and exciting and satiating. I think, and that's why your perspective has always got to be really important about what truly matters in this game, and who am I outside of the number 12 you see on the field. And I think that's what plant medicine has allowed me to see more clearly. That's what balance that I've been working on the last half decade especially has allowed me to find greater contentment. And when that time comes, I think I'll be ready for it and excited about the next chapter.
Why do you think you decided to try to find that part of you with plant medicine? Do you think it was because you were worried about some shit? Did you start overthinking? Did something happen that you wanted to try it?
What do you mean, Pat? What exactly are you asking, buddy?
I don't know, because it feels like every time you chit-chat about the last, 4 or 5 years or whatever, you talk about, almost like a brand new you, like a whole new perspective on things. And we've only known that person because this is the 3rd season of Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, so we've only gotten a chance to chat with that. Did something happen that made you want to turn into that type of person, or were you always that person, just not as much? It kind of enlightened it a little bit more, or ignited it a little bit more, I apologize, or why did that happen, you think? Why'd you turn to that?
Well, I think there were a number of personal things that were going on in my life, but there were professional things that triggered some responses that were necessary. In 2017, I broke my collarbone. It was the most severe injury of my career and left me on the shelf. Actually started my love for Malibu because I came out to the West Coast and rented a house for a couple weeks as I got surgery from the amazing Neil Elitrosh and
Neil.
yeah, shout out to Neil.
Shout out.
And his right-hand shoulder man. And then stayed out in Malibu and really started to feel the separation from the team. And not being around the guys, knowing I was on a major course of recovery in order to get back. And there was some deep contemplation that went on during that time period about who am I without football? Who am I without this game? Can I function the way I want to function? Can I exist the way I want to exist? 2018, another injury to start the season, and a tumultuous year with our team and Mike getting fired. And then 2019 was when I first felt the call to do some plant medicine. So there were a lot of different events that triggered kind of this mindset to look at the world a little bit differently and to find that balance and contentment without football being the identity of our lives. And I think that's what we all can struggle with. If we don't find that love for ourselves or that other passion or that other transition, or really just in general, the balance of life, without our main thing or the thing that is our calling card or the thing that people know us as, I think we're going to be setting ourselves up for some depression, some struggles. And look, I'm not saying it's going to be when the time comes to walk away, whether that's this year, next year, 3 years down the road, it won't be hard. It will be hard. But I've done a lot of work to make that transition probably a little bit easier. And I'm thankful for those lessons, those really hard times of adversity, but also, learning more about myself and who I am outside of just number 12 for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, you prepared for the moment. That's smart to do. Seems like that is a good decision, even though, you got called to do it and a lot of things triggered it to happen. Feels like you've landed in a much happier place. Do you think physically you're good? Did you feel anything this year that you maybe, whenever you were younger, is there anything that you think physically you couldn't do that you maybe were able to do a few years back? Because I mean, there'd be Aaron Rodgers throws all over every single game. Even when things might not have been clicking, there would have been a bucket drop or a fucking window hit that doesn't normally happen anywhere else. Physically, you feel good? Body-wise, good?
Yeah, I mean, I dealt with obviously the stuff that we talked about on the show. I avoided some of the major injuries like COVID toe and some other stuff.
I don't
dealt
know
with.
how you avoided that one. That one seemed like it was eyeing you down for a bit. It had you in the sights, and you didn't get. That's incredible. It's incredible.
Listen, after I went through the winter of death and survived, everything since then has been easy. So I'm really, really thankful. I mean, who can say that they won MVP of COVID? And
Thank you.
we had 2 years of COVID, and that's the years I was MVP, back to back. So, and I dealt with COVID toe,
And COVID.
and I'm a COVID survivor.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
I guess it pays to be immunized, right?
Whoa.
Amen.
Hell yeah.
Hey, we didn't have that whole promo on the checklist going into the show, but we certainly knew winner or death was going to be popping up today at some point. And hell yeah, I guess it goes down in the history books. The only COVID MVP, Aaron Rodgers. Congrats on that.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats on that, Aaron. Especially because, I mean, you were probably a face of COVID too at the time.
Yeah.
So for you to be
Was AQ? I feel like we just showed a quick shot. AQ is making kind of a weird face. Did he have something you wanted to jump in there?
No, he's probably got a
Come on,
cramp in
AQ,
his
get in
gut.
here.
Yeah.
I loved
Get in here,
I
AQ.
loved that promo you just got. It was awesome. I loved everything about it. I think if you know me, you know that I love it.
This is amazing. See, I can actually see AQ now. I mean, I don't know what I've been missing. I mean, this shot right here, when I'm sitting, on my white couch in Green Bay, I can't see shit. I can't see anybody in this shot. Now, I'm looking at this right now. I can see all of you just totally clearly. I can see Ty looking amazing. Rocking the is that a John Deere hat?
You know it. You
That's
know
incredible. Yeah. Connor with his smirk on his face.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That other smirking Cowboy fan there is probably really happy today.
No. That's
After
Tone-
the files that came out yesterday.
That's
I think
Tone
he is
Day. He's a
super-
COVID cowboy. Why don't we put the whole thing back up? Hey, take a screenshot right now on your phone if you're watching.
That was perfect.
Go ahead and post that on Twitter with the hashtag ART. And say something nice to somebody. You could potentially be one of 10 winners of $500. Put your cash tag in there as well so that we can pay you officially on Cash App. We've given away over like $3 million in the last year via our Twitter giveaways, Aaron. It's
All
absolutely...
Bitcoin or?
I remember you were wearing that sweet leather jacket down at that Bitcoin.
Miami. Yeah.
You were wearing a leather jacket in Miami talking about Bitcoin. Have you ever felt cooler in your life? There's no way.
At least I didn't, stomp for that other Bitcoin.
Yeah.
group.
That's a smart play. Hindsight.
Quarterbacks did.
That was smart. That guy, I'm sure he'll get off, though. He didn't do anything wrong.
All right. Sounds like you have an opinion on it. Excited about that. We'll certainly dive in here in a little bit. The man in the John Deere cap, who is a shareholder owner of the Green Bay Packers, Ty Schmidt, has a question for you, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, you look great. Obviously, glad to see you're in good spirits. And I'll speak for every Packers fan. I don't know if everyone shares the sentiment, but obviously want you back next year, the year after that,
Wow.
basically until you decide you don't want to play anymore. When you reflect on the season as a whole, when you're looking back on it, obviously you guys didn't accomplish what you wanted to, but is it easy to kind of pick out and find positives throughout the season? And are there certain things, not asking you to say, hey, yeah, I'm coming back, but are there things that you can pick out and be like, oh, I'm actually excited to, or I would be excited to kind of extrapolate on a couple of these things next year if I do decide to come back and play again?
Yeah, listen, there's always positives in the season, and I think it may be a little easier this year because there weren't maybe as many as we've had in years past. We're winning 13 games, and we're the top seed in the NFC. But the beauty in this game is the unexpected surprises and the little miracles that happen. Sometimes every single day, sometimes weekly, and it's those special moments that you relish and you really enjoy. And to be able to watch, so many of our rookies step into their first year as a professional and to watch their personalities come out as they started feeling more confident and playing at a higher level was a lot of fun. To be able to be there in the beginning for Christian and throw him his first touchdown was pretty cool. And just to watch that evolution from a guy who was really having a hard time catching the ball to becoming a legitimate threat in the NFL. That's so much fun to see. And watching him, progress is going to be fun. Obviously, Romeo had some ups and downs this season, but watching, kind of his confidence come and his characters show up was pretty cool. One of the top moments of the entire season was getting to talk to Big Mike. And
Hell yeah.
I've said this before, but the conversation that we had before the Dallas game, and I see him, chained up and dancing, very short-lived dancing post-game. But that was a really, really special moment, and that made everything that we went through adversity-wise worth it, to be able to have that reconnection moment in person with no cameras, nobody around, and just him and I was one of the highlights of the season for sure.
Hell yeah. Go ahead, AJ.
Aaron, first off, I can't wait to watch you play next year. I know you didn't say that. I'm going to say that for just out of hope, and I feel like I can watch you. I can see your demeanor and your posture. It looks like, you're going to be ready to sling that thing. In about 2 weeks, you could probably still go right now if you wanted. But what do you make of the internet rumors or reports that they may not be in Green Bay? Is that up to you? Is that up to the team? Would you ever want to not play in Green Bay?
Great question, AJ.
I think when you say never, things happen that you say never to. So when I came back from the Combine in 2005, they said, "How was it?" And I said, man, it was so much fun, except for the 5 a.m. Drug test the first day, and at Cybex test, and then sitting at an MRI machine for 8 hours, with only a sandwich and an apple.
Come on.
I said, but other than that, it was pretty cool, I think all the teams are great, except for Green Bay. That was a really tough interview. They were just kind of grilling me, but it's all right. I mean, I'm never going to play there anyway. They're drafting 24th. So you be careful saying never.
Yeah.
I don't think you say never. Listen, I came back and really wanted to finish my career in Green Bay. In 2019, we, were feeling each other out on offense, and our defense played pretty damn good. And a lot of people said I was, washed, couldn't really play anymore.
Washed, yeah.
Wasn't the same. And then I won 2 MVPs in a row.
Hell yeah.
Is that good?
Without really doing anything different. I'm sure there's a lot of the same sentiment this year. I have a lot of comments about a lot of that I'd like to keep to myself, or I'll share, off air, just because out of respect for the whole process, and just, some things don't need to be said. I think are more understood implicitly. But do I still think I can play? Of course. Can I play at a high level? Yeah. The highest. I think I can win MVP again in the right situation. Right situation, is that Green Bay or is that somewhere else? I'm not sure. But I don't think you should shut down any, opportunity. Like I said, during the season, it's got to be, both sides, like actually wanting, to work together moving forward. And I think there's, more conversations to be had. I think no player wants to be part of any type of rebuild. I said that years ago. Reloads are a lot of fun because you feel like you're close. You're only a couple guys away. This game is about relationships. It's about the players you play with and count on, even if they don't maybe show up huge in the stat book. A guy like Mercedes Lewis is an important cog in the wheel of the locker room and the momentum of the team. That's a guy I want to finish my career with. If I'm playing, I want that guy next to me. I want the Randall Cobbs of the world, if he wants to keep playing, in my locker room. Guys you can win with. Alan Lazard, Bobby Tunyon, Dave Bakhtiari. There's a lot of interesting names that we'll see, their, desire to re-sign these certain guys who are glue guys in the locker room will be an interesting conversation to be had. Take all that away, I still, need to mentally get to a point where I feel 100% locked in and ready to play a 19th season. And if I do, then we'll rock and roll and figure that out. If I don't, then we'll going to the jungles for a while.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait to hear about those someday. I assume the trips to the jungles will be hysterical. But let's get back to what you just said a lot right there. Okay? AJ.
Hysterical.
Yeah. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. That's not. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Usually hysterical at first, like laughing. I mean, there might be some laughing about things that happen that might be so ridiculous to your mind you can't possibly imagine they're real. But
No, I agree. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
oh, great. Okay.
I view life like a movie. Like it's awesome.
Your life is amazing. Are you gonna have a reality show yet? What are we doing here? What are we working on?
No, we're just talking sports. It's just being a dumb guy talking sports. And I'm going to the jungles with you one day. I cannot wait to do that.
I can't either, man. We're gonna have a blast.
Oh, I heard there's some stories. They were hysterical.
They were hysterical.
You know what I'm talking about? But anyways, you said a lot right there, dude. You did, honestly, because obviously you've thought about that. When you talk about Mercedes Lewis and Cobb, this goes back a few years back where the conversation between you and the Packers was at a standpoint where I couldn't really fathom because I was very fortunate enough to come into the NFL with a team that had Peyton Manning on it. And Peyton Manning wasn't like, if Peyton Manning wanted something, like he's going to get it. I just assumed like that makes sense, by the way. Best player, been around the longest in the locker room, the one that has to get it done. We all know that the quarterback's the most important position, so why wouldn't we treat it as such? And that's kind of just how I saw things go, and there was a lot of success that way. So whenever I was hearing things about the Green Bay Packers organization where you were saying something like, hey, I'd like this, and then that person like getting cut almost like in spite of you, it's like, that doesn't make sense business-wise, either off the field or on the field. Now it kind of sounds like whenever you say something like rebuild instead of reload, are you getting the sense that in Green Bay right now, around that young core, that they're trying to kind of start a new era? And does that weigh into your thoughts on whether you want to play for or not play again, maybe somewhere else? Because there's a lot that you said there, like a lot. You said a fucking lot there. That was awesome. Thank you for that.
You're welcome, Pat. I think the answer, the question, it just answered itself, right? If there's a rebuild going on, I won't be a part of that.
So they have to figure that out. And do they have to figure that out before you decide that you're coming back? Because then there is kind of a timeline, right? Isn't there?
Well, listen. I don't think any team outside of maybe the Texans this year or some. There's a couple teams maybe who might say, yeah, we're rebuilding. We finished down at the bottom of the league, and we're obviously we're going to start over. These teams who have new GM or head coach and they're drafting pretty high, they might admit that they're in some sort of rebuild, but not. Most teams in the middle of the pack aren't going to say, hey, we're going to rebuild. Unless we have a crazy cap situation. So. No GM or president's ever going to say, "Hey, we're rebuilding."
Got it.
So that won't, I'm sure that'll trigger somebody asking them, are you guys rebuilding? And the answer would be, of course not. We got this and we have that, but it's a mindset. If they want to go younger and think Jordan's ready to go, then that might be the way they want to go. And if that's the case, and I still want to play, then there's only one option, right? That's to play somewhere else. If it's not, and they, like, no, we still want you to play, and this and that, then it'd have to be, the right situation with the roster that looks like we can win it all, because there's no point coming back if you don't think you can win it all.
And this is all if mentally you want to commit to an entire year, obviously. Which is a huge you have a lot to figure out, dude. Good luck, bro. Good luck with figuring that all out. How do you plan on doing it?
Well, The Arts of Contemplation,
That's of course.
is a great book that you may have read. It's a short one, Pat.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Very short one. It's in there somewhere. It's not one of those long ones, by Graham Hancock. It's a nice short one.
Gods.
The fingerprint of the gods. Honestly.
Yeah, that's a great one.
It's
The
a
subtle
long
art
book.
of not giving a fuck. But The Art of Contemplation, little black book, which I know you used to have in college as well.
Hi-yo!
Somebody else did too.
AB.
All right.
Who's that?
And what is your process going to be, though? Honestly, what is it?
It's just taking some time, pausing, letting kind of all the emotions kind of run through you, and then starting to see how it feels day after day, and what's coming to mind. You missing it, not missing it. You excited about the next season, new challenge, whatever it might be, and then going kind of lean into that feeling, and whatever feels right in your body is probably what it's going to be. I think it's got to be a full fuck yes. It's got to be like, yes, 100% I'm in. And if it's not that, then you're out.
You going dry race board? Pros, cons? Are we maybe sitting out overlooking the Pacific Ocean? Maybe some music on in the background. Who knows what you're drinking?
Wine.
Probably a scotch.
Wine.
You know, having a time. Is that all part of, like, what are we doing?
Well, I know that, I know you're a big fan of this mammal. Might be your spirit animal, but this is the humpback whale season.
Hell yeah.
And a lot of humpbacks are going through the old southern Pacific here. So, sitting back with maybe a cigar
Right.
and perhaps some scotch
Wine.
and the binoculars
Right.
and the humpback whales.
Wine.
It's a good start to the contemplation.
I think so. We're pulling for you, man. Hope you find happiness through it all, which it seems like you will.
I do have happiness. I have happiness.
Jump in
and
the
contentment.
water. Get in the water
Yeah.
with those things if you really want to make a decision.
That's right.
I will. I'm going to be like Spock in The Search for Spock, Star Trek 4. No, not Search for Spock. The Voyage Home.
We all know
Sorry.
that
Hell
one.
yeah.
Voyage
that
Home,
was
Star
all-
Trek 4.
Have you seen the newest Avatar?
I have not yet. No.
Put it in that movie theater you got in that house. Put it in. Make sure it can. Do you got one of them Rumble movie theaters though? Because we saw it in 3D.
Yeah, Dolby.
And the fucking seats were moving. Oh, I was going through the water over there on Pandora, dude. It was wild.
Even though this might influence me, like, how would you score it out of 10?
Well, here's the deal. I only watched the first 2 hours because I had things to do. I couldn't stay for the full 310. But I heard the.
Wow.
Aaron, this was decided. It's not the movie's
The
fault.
weekday.
It was decided before we even got access to the movie. If we get access to it, there's no way I'm going to be able to stay for the whole thing. I got something going on the next day. It was a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday. Who's got 3 hours in 10 minutes on a Wednesday night in the middle of football season? It would seem like an impossible task. But first 2 hours, pretty sweet. Pretty.
Hey, the fact that you put 2 hours in,
In the public. I was out and about. I never go. I'm here, home, work, home,
What?
here, home.
What?
We went out. Had a night. Ooh, having a time. Watching Avatar. Feeling the seat vibrate.
Yeah.
It was a good time. I think you should watch it. I think you should.
and then you just walked out of the movies. See, I think the only movie I've ever walked out of in the movie theaters was Deuce Bigalow, European Gigolo.
What?
You didn't like it. Too much hype? Too much hype? What's the problem?
I had something going on, hour one into it. It was a weekend.
I get it.
Just couldn't stay. Actually, I walked out of a Benjamin Button too.
Oh,
What?
Gladly,
It's a
'cause
great
that-
film.
Why?
what about
wasn't
Sherlock?
bad. That
Did you
was-
see Sherlock?
Sherlock Holmes with Downey Jr.
No.
No,
with
Holmes and Watson.
Yeah.
With Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, that one.
No, I didn't.
That's probably the right play.
Yeah, great.
I watched out of there.
Well, the worst
on
movie
ESPN right now.
maybe ever is Hacksaw Ridge. So I would, if I'd seen that in theaters, I
Is that
would
the one with Harry Styles?
No, it's Andrew Garfield.
no, no.
It's about
Vince
Vince
I
Vaughn.
never said that about Harry.
The truth.
The guy saved a bunch of lives.
Yeah,
What's this? It sounds like you're anti-American right now. Is that about America? What happened? I don't think.
goddamn right.
He was a medic.
Desmond-
Some of the worst acting.
Oh,
Oh!
really?
Vince Vaughn, who I love, not his best movie.
No, definitely
Sam
not.
Worthington from Avatar, really poor performance.
Jacob Soley?
Yeah.
He doesn't do poor performances. Sorry, I'm going to have to question this. Jacob Soley.
But the guy that plays the main character in that, poof, that's a bad movie.
That's the old Spider-Man.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield.
There it is.
You a big movie guy? Big movie buff? Love them?
I am, yeah.
Really? You watch like small independent movies too, or just basically anything that's out there?
Anything that's going to pass the time on a cold and lonely Green Bay night.
That's a song. You writing a song about that? I think you do that as well. You play the guitar rather.
Yeah,
well.
the guitar is not in range. So.
Oh, it's up
Come
on the deck. It's
on.
up on the deck. He's singing to the whales that are boning. That's amazing. Can't wait for
The whales, yeah, they like the songs for sure.
I'm so
Whale
pumped.
song,
I'm so
whale
pumped.
song.
Could you imagine if you fucking just hang it up, just go live your life, or if you come back and they say we're actually looking to move forward, and this guy's a free agent again all of a sudden, you'll be able to.
Wild.
Oh my God, Indianapolis
No,
is
they'd
not.
have to trade him. They'd have to trade him. You wouldn't become a free agent.
Yeah, but just like there's been very recently, there has been a trade of a quarterback who, different situation obviously, but it became a full free agency period pretty much in the middle of the whole thing.
Do you have a no trade clause where you have to approve if that were to happen?
Great follow up tone.
I think that
Oh, he
I would.
doesn't know. God doesn't know.
No, I don't have a no trade, but I don't think we get in a situation if that in that imaginary world where there would be a trade to a team I don't want to go to. I just don't think that's.
That would be awesome. That'd be even better. Could you imagine just how the spectacle that it would be?
No, thank you.
We're sending them to fucking some team in the CFL. All right.
Fucking Stan Peters.
See you later.
Seattle Dragons.
Can't wait to watch it all unfold, bud. They're already talking about you right now. Herm Edwards is cutting a promo. They're showing a highlight. Oh, you just threw a fucking. No, it was incompletion. It looked like pass interference, so probably a bad call. These refs. Oh, let's talk about these refs. Since we have you on, and Connor will have a question as well. Joey Bosa cut a promo. That was, I don't know if you've seen it. I know you kind of see some things, you're off the grid but some other times and all that. Joey Bosa said, basically, there's no accountability from these refs who suck pretty much. And he just spoke about it. Doesn't normally happen. Micah Parsons, obviously, another superstar, young superstar in the league. He kind of retweeted it and said, this is an issue. Do you think they ever get it fixed? From being on the inside? I know it's a hard job. We all know it's a hard job. Is it fixable, and do you think the NFL will ever get it fixed?
Listen, I think that there's a number of different types of calls that are hard to ref. Offensive holding, because it happens on a lot of plays.
Yes, Chief.
It's just kind of the extent. There's some flopping that goes on as well. The NBA tried to police flopping by $5,000 fines. It didn't really work. The NFL might need to police some of the flopping because there is some ridiculous flopping that goes on. But offensive holding is hard. Not that hard, though. Some of the ones, I felt like Thibodeau had one in the game where it was pretty obvious he got held and was not called. Roughing the passer, though. Got to talk about this.
It's bad for the game, Aaron. And people say that you're a part of it, like you and Tom and the superstar quarterbacks are the reason why these are happening. But you and Tom, I feel like, come out against it a lot. Why is it? It's an interesting.
Well, I don't. I had I think one call this year roughing the passer, and it was a soft one. It wasn't one. If I get hit in the face and it's forceful, you kind of expect the penalty. Didn't get any. I don't believe. Maybe I think I only got one, maybe two at the most. The one I got seemed to be very soft, and it's not one that I'm campaigning for. I was actually shaking my head, like I don't really want that call. It's not. Pick it up. Do you have the video of it?
No. I was telling you were telling the ref, pick it up.
Yeah, I mean,
you make me look bad.
The one that 97 had in the Vikings Giants game. I mean, I think he does exactly what they've asked him to do. You tackle him, you're starting to turn him. I mean, listen, the guy's 330 pounds. He's one of the best D tackles in the league. He's one of the strongest D tackles in the league. If he's 330 and he's wrapping up a 220-pound quarterback, listen, watch what he does. Okay, he lets him go. He doesn't even forcibly. He watch his hands. He pulls his hands away.
They say his forearm hit him in the face, though. Remember in that super slut right here? Boom. Shot to the face with a forearm, they say.
I don't know. That to me is, I wouldn't be asking for that penalty. Now, if you get you get one of these right to the face, yeah, that's a penalty. That's not a penalty. And that's just one of a number of calls that it's hard because what do you do? Do you go back and review those in slow time? I think, listen, the best reps that we've had in the league are on TV now.
Yeah.
Right? Agreed. They're not working in the league office. Right? They're on TV. Gene Steratore, my favorite ref of all time. I think one of the best guys at understanding how to interact with guys, how to communicate with them, and then how to control a game without being the main, without being a part of it, And Gene was incredible at that. But Gene's on TV now. Why? Because they pay more.
Yeah.
Right?
We all miss Gene, man. How about
Barry McCauley, also fantastic referee. Right? He's not working as the head of refs for the league office. He's on TV. John Perry, another great referee. Right? What's he doing? He's working on TV. All these guys who were fantastic Whitecaps, and many of them who left in the last, I don't know how long Gene's been out, but it's probably last 5 years. You've had 8 or 9 really good Whitecap, long-time referees. Are any of them working at the league office?
No, and it's the people that normally not good relationship with players in there because they're not good refs running shit too, because they'll take that level of a job at that stage of life, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, Mike Pereira, on TV, he was a great ref. Like, who was the other guy? Dean Blandino, right? Another good one. These guys are all on TV because they pay more, and they can also, but they can do it. If the league was smart, they would go grab one of those guys, pay them whatever the hell they want, and make this a little easier for the refs because they have a tough job to do. But there's some things to be simplified. We know throughout the season there'll be less calls, right? So they emphasize something early in the season that we've called, whether it's roughing the passer, taunting, illegal contact, which they said was going to be a big thing. At the end of the year, there's no penalties called. There's 3 or 4 per team per game. That's the way it goes. Now, if you have 3 or 4 penalties a game for the whole season, right, you're going to be number 1 in the league, right? We averaged like 6.5 for most of the year. We were in the top 7. I think we were 6th or 7th, 5th, 6th, 7th the entire year. In the playoffs, it was 3 or 4 penalties every single game, right? They just don't want to. They don't want to be a part of it. I get it, right? But there has to be some consistency throughout the year, so we're not reffing the games like that late in the season. But early in the season, we're going to flag everything. I just think it needs to be more consistent throughout the year. What's illegal contact in week 1 should be illegal contact in week 18.
Two different sports. It's a couple different sports there whenever it's being ref differently. And they have a lot of power, Aaron. They got to get it figured out, especially with obviously the sports gambling industry growing the way it is. Refs are a massive impact. And I think anytime you talk to former players or former coaches, they always talk about the refs. Media people don't as much, but I think players and coaches understand more than anybody. Like, hey, that person, the white cap as you call, a lot of power right there and changing the entire game and changing the entire. If a team is a pass happy team, they throw a lot, they're very efficient, and they want to call it tight with pass interference or something like that, they could change the whole. You can change the whole game if you want to, just because you're that crew. They got to get it figured out. We have faith that they will. Connor has a question for you, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, Avatar, I'd probably say 8.5. And also, I want to be the first one to congratulate you on the article from yesterday. I know you and your immunized brothers and sisters probably took a victory lap, as you should. You said earlier, after your West Coast trip, you're going to be busy from here, quote. What are you doing? You going to Thailand to hang out with Cliff Kingsbury, or are you doing a little traveling? What's the plan here?
I think Cliff has all the companionship he needs.
Hell yeah.
Yes, he does.
Hell yeah.
What a move. I'm just going.
I think more people should do that. I heard this interesting idea that in order to allow for the proper time, interview process, what if they put a freeze on all hiring still after the Super Bowl? I think it's an interesting idea to kick around. Right now, you have so much craziness going on with anybody that fired their head coach is trying to get people. Anybody that made adjustments to their staff is trying to get people. You have 8 teams now still left in the playoffs with people getting interviewed, but maybe don't have the same type of advantage or opportunity because they're focusing on the game plan. Maybe put a moratorium on all that until after the Super Bowl might be an interesting idea to do for all those guys. Then Then you can let Cliff go and do his thing and have time to breathe. I think we all do. I think everybody needs time to decompress and take the emotion out of it. And good for Cliff taking care of himself. Obviously, he's got. It wasn't just him on a solo trip, doing a walkabout somewhere, or, doing some sort of journey that I'd be doing. He's definitely living well over there. But there's some events that I haven't done the past few years that I'd be interested in doing. I've played in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am a number of times and may end up doing that.
Okay, here we go. Because you alluded to becoming a professional golfer earlier when you said you're not always.
I did not allude.
Yeah, you did. When you said you can't always scratch your competitive itch or whatever, but you can at least try with different things. I heard it. Okay, we got a golf thing coming up. Got it, of course. You're great at golf. Great at golf.
Great golfer.
Great golfer. Great golfer.
I'm a decent golfer. I did have a nice top 10 at Tahoe this year, but
let's win that thing.
Of our first round.
Yeah.
That was because of our first round we had together and the enjoyment we had hanging out and swapping stories. And then you guys all went to bed early every single night, so I got plenty of sleep.
Oh!
Fantastic.
I want to let you know, I got a treadmill in here in the Hawk House, and I've been walking and then stopping, hitting a shot, getting back on there. I got beat by the course last year. My energy levels might have been a little bit lower than I expected after those golf rounds, But we were up in Adam. I was fighting Tahoe in the afternoons. We did I was out there, bro, living. And you did fantastic. We're all going to win that thing next year. 1, 2, 3. That's what we're going to do.
I tell you who didn't get beat by the course last year? Connor.
That's right.
That was impressive, Connor.
time.
Really impressive, buddy.
I was
Proud of you.
fast in the morning.
Big bag. We need a much smaller bag next time. And we only need one.
And Foxy, I'll tell you what, Foxy, there was a vacation for him where he just went to bed at 10 every night.
Yep.
9 or 10, woke up at 6, up and at him. I mean,
Ready
8
to go,
hours
though, Aaron.
strong.
Ready to go. I didn't have to
Yeah.
play golf.
Hey, you got some great shots, though. He looked like a professional, golf. He used the what's that, cinema mode on a
Yep.
couple of those shots.
And the GoPro. Hey, next time we'll actually have to get media passes, though, because they weren't happy with that.
They were not
Dude,
happy we were
no.
shooting shit, Aaron. They were not pumped. But Nick got kicked off the course a couple different
Yeah.
times. Hey, tall guy, get him out.
Get out of
All
here.
right. You got it. It's all right.
Hey, shout out to Justine and Frenchie, though.
Oh,
The best.
that's me experiencing life like at a different level there. The chefs that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Every meal was
Sweet.
probably top 5 meal you've ever had in your life.
Yes.
With the Magi.
Every single meal. And they
Shout out to jet skis, too. You ever had a bad day on jet ski? It doesn't happen.
Well, I actually talked about it yesterday on Tahoe. Probably the worst day I've ever had on jet ski.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. It was
Chop. That was a chop
It
salt.
was. I mean, boom, boom.
It was a little choppy. Yeah, it was fun, though. Yeah.
Exactly. I agree. Great time. But I was beat up by the course already, so I already had full body cramps happening. And then whenever you're in the middle of fucking Tahoe and your jet ski is taking off, and once again, I just said I'm in the middle of Lake Tahoe on a jet ski, so life is okay. But as you're going and you get a full leg cramp, boom, right down. It's a wake up call that you need to maybe get back in
There's some
shape.
cures for that, though, Pat. And you know this, as we get older, we sometimes need to take more vitamins. So, we take our vitamins and then we feel better.
Aaron, you saw it. I was taking all the vitamins, literally, that was available. I
They
was
bring Toradol.
You saw it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what we should do.
yes. You had the chefs. I'll bring the doctors that are shooting in Toradol. Okay, we'll make this thing perfect.
It's getting close. Well, yeah, we're going to get this thing closer to perfection. The Toradol might be it there.
I'm going to need it, I think. Who wins that? Who won that last year? How far off were you?
Joe Pavelski?
No.
Like
I was like 20
He-
points off.
He knows.
It was Romo, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, Romo won.
He was cat dogging it.
Is he coaching you? I guess not. All right.
Sorry, I broke up. What happened?
The laptop was good all the way up until then, it sounded like.
Damn.
He was just wondering who's coaching you. Is it Mr. Romo? Do you have some Romans out there? Huh, little Romo Mo?
Yeah, I don't. I have 4 less coaches than he does.
Got his ass.
Is that something you're going to commit to maybe this year, though? Maybe get a little
No,
bit?
I don't want any coaches. I don't.
No, you just want to play golf. Did you play in high
I want
school?
to play golf a few times, and that's about it.
Did you play in high school?
I missed the team. I went out my sophomore year and got cut.
Why are you so good, though? You just kept playing even though you got cut? This could have been the Michael Jordan story. Still could be. This guy got cut from his varsity golf team.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
Won on to play and win MVP 4 times. Now he's a professional golfer.
Winning the
This could be it. Self-taught like Bubba Watson, no swing coach.
That's right.
Holy shit, we're in the middle of this.
Listen, until an athlete of another sport makes a cut on any tour, right? I'm not counting the senior tour; they don't have a cut. John Smoltz has played in a few of those events. He's done fine. He's a good player. But until a former athlete of another sport plays in a golf tournament, I'm talking about Korn Ferry
Right.
or
Live?
the PGA Tour. Or live. There's no cut on live, so that doesn't count.
No, yeah, it does. You get invited,
How much
you're
have
good.
they offered you? Have they offered you a big old check to come over there?
Not a bad time to become a professional golfer.
No, I haven't seen anything with a B behind it yet, so I'm probably gonna avoid that.
That seems smart.
Live. But until one of those guys makes a cut or even sniffs a cut, like you can't even talk about, being a professional golfer as a former athlete of another sport.
All right, so let's get back to the question that Connor asked because it was good journalism from Connor. You got the Pebble Beach Pro-Am coming. You said it's about to get real busy. Is that for football? Is that for life? Is it going to be a little mix with both? What do you got?
Yeah, the Pebble Beach Pro-Am is something that I'm considering. Obviously, the Super Bowl is in Scottsdale. Phoenix, whatever you want to call it.
You coming out? We'll be out there. We'll have a night.
I definitely won't be doing Radio Row if you're there.
No, we have
That's
We have
for-
a
yeah,
house.
that's-
We have a house. Two of them. We have 2 houses.
Come on.
supposed to
Yeah, what are you
last year.
doing then?
Well, they have the waste management, so I may, if I'm out there, end up doing that pro-am, which is a lot of fun. They're trying to get a bunch of football players, I heard.
Hell yeah.
So if I decide to go out this Rule Bowl, that's an option. And if I do, then I'll definitely come by the house and see you guys. Maybe pop in for a little show.
There we go.
Miss seeing you guys in person. But then there's some other things that I'm interested in. There's a couple different kind of spiritual things that on
Yes.
the horizon that are possible,
Yes.
and then a couple trips. But I'm just gonna relax for the next couple weeks, and then start back with some workouts and see how my body's feeling.
Derby.
You travel everywhere, right? You're a big world traveler. Good question. Derby on the horizon this year? We back? You guys back?
I think Derby's gonna be back this year.
Wow! Big deal. AJ's gonna have his
Cool hand
sandwich
thing.
bag with his hand thing of cigars, just doing his thing. Can't wait for it.
AJ's gonna be there singing with his buddy Travis Tritt,
Oh,
hanging out with Bobby.
Big Travis Tritt.
All right.
Yeah.
Big fan. Big fan. Aaron's a big fan as well. I'm glad we bond over that.
Travis
No, we do.
Tritt, something happened.
Sounds
Yeah,
like neither of
who's
them are
this?
factually famous.
Travis is awesome. He sings up there. It's amazing.
He sings up there. Yeah, he's a
Okay.
musician, obviously. What happened? I'm pretty excited to hear what happened. Well, I guess this will be off air. Shout out to Travis Tritt. You're fucking doing it. You're doing it.
There's nothing that happened. We love Travis. He's awesome.
Okay.
Dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
We all love Travis.
Okay.
All right, I get it.
Thank you, Travis.
I get it. You're a world traveler, though, right? What was it? Peru a couple years ago. And then obviously you got to go to the jungles to do
Hungary.
things that have been hungry. You were spotted in.
Switzerland.
Is there any? Have you ever been to Antarctica, or has there been anywhere you haven't been that you will
Yes,
definitely?
there's a lot of places. I haven't been to Antarctica. Haven't been to Patagonia, Iceland, Spain,
What?
Ibiza,
Barcelona.
Take a pill.
Ibiza,
Barcelona.
Barcelona. There's a lot of places I'd like to go, but it's pretty nice here. So if I'm not in Green Bay, then probably sitting here looking at the humpbacks.
That's smart.
Hell yeah.
We saw your house on the internet.
Pretty
Pretty
nice.
cool.
Oh my yeah.
I sold that one. I bought a couple miles down.
Tone Diggs has a question for you, Aaron, if that's all right.
Yeah, Tone. All right, big Steeler guy.
Thank you.
Now he's a
Aaron.
Cowboy guy too, right?
Well, yeah,
Well, I
also a big I love my COVID MVP guy. Okay. Last night for I don't know, let's say hypothetically it was Tom's last game. He had Tom Cruise there, Hulk Hogan, and John Daly. Let's say hypothetically you have a last game. Is there a crew you could come up with that competes with that potentially you'd like to have in stadium to have you watch the last game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves,
That was a given.
Yes.
So good. at
Kid
acting.
Rock.
The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Boom.
What did you say? You said Tom Cruise, Hulk Hogan, and who?
John Daly.
You can have more. There's a lot of sweets.
Well, I mean, AJ would probably say Phil Mick because he's a big fan, but I'm going to say
I was going to say Tiger. I thought Tiger for sure.
Tiger. No, listen, I would love Nick Cage, Keanu Reeves, Steven Seagal, whoever that dude is. Who is that?
Fucking Tank. Taker.
Whoever that man is,
That's the American Badass.
Yes. Undertaker.
and
Maybe
American
Big
Badass.
Big Show. Yeah.
Big Show.
Where?
Eugene Travis Tritt.
Jesus, what a stadium! This is Sharknado of fucking stadiums right now.
Trump, probably.
Dwayne Johnson. Fouch.
Rogan's got to be there.
Yep.
Nancy
Yeah,
Pelosi.
Dr. Joe.
Dr. Joe Rogan's got to be there.
Nancy Pelosi
Yeah,
for sure.
Dr. Joe.
I think AQ looks like Dayball.
Anybody who calls himself science.
My daughter does.
3 conversations happening. Great show.
Dable, what?
Well, do you think this guy looks exactly like Dayball? Just and what are your thoughts on Dayball as an experience?
What do you mean it's an experience? I don't understand the question.
You haven't been paying attention. The Giants with Dayball, the experience. He's been chugging beers at Rangers games last year.
What?
He's got the same exact roster winning and going on here in the playoffs. Danny Dimes has become a brand new quarterback, seemingly under his leadership with Kafka, the offensive coordinator. The Dayball experience for the Giants fans have start spreading the news. They're like all the way back, it feels like, because of him. So have you watched that at all? Have you seen it at all? It is a different team, obviously.
Well, we played against him, and
In London town.
yeah, I'd say this. I don't think it's the most talented roster. So I think Coach Dable is a hell of a coach and leader. I think Wink Martindale is a hell of a coach. When you look at the roster on defense, like Lawrence is one of the top players in the league probably. And as far as D tackles go, I think him, yeah, look at that. They're obviously having some fun. That's happening when you win. Like Aaron Donald and Mr. Lawrence are probably two of the top, maybe 1-2 as far as D tackles go. It's hard to think of anybody. There's 3 or 4 guys that probably rival him, but he's really, really good. The rest of that defense, there's some older players who've been cut and traded by various teams. There's, obviously have a first-round pick at one of the ends, but that scheme is aggressive. They come after you. They disguise really well. And offensively, would you be able to name all their skilled players besides Saquon?
Well,
you guys would because you're in the business, but the average fan, would they be able to name? Probably not. But then you watch those guys play. Slayton, James, and the other guy with the weird last name who was making a ton of plays. Yeah. I mean, they're not exactly, first-round picks, but they're balling. So, obviously doing something right. I told Coach Dable after the game, my comment to him was, obviously you're a hell of a leader because you guys play really hard. You play together. You play disciplined. And I just like what he's about. So I'm not surprised they're in this position. I think if you look at who the best 7 teams were at the end of the season, playing the best, there may have been a couple teams in the playoffs that weren't in that top 7. But the best teams usually show up in the playoffs and play the best. And I thought, Jackson have obviously got to win. They've been playing really good the last part of the season. The Giants. Now, Dallas has been kind of an outlier because they were up and down a little bit. But when they're good, they're really good. When they're bad, they can lose to some teams that they probably should beat.
And the NFC South, right? Being the champion of the NFC South, it was kind of like being talked about all year, kind of like so one of these teams has to represent. Do you like that or not like that? That's the setup of the playoffs. I think it's a big deal winning the division, but there's a lot of people that want to change that.
I think winning division should get you in. Maybe it shouldn't let you host. Maybe it should be what if there was a reshuffle, especially you have 3 NFC East teams in the Final Four, and, 2 of them obviously had to go on the road and play. If they had reshuffled, it just would have been Tampa at Dallas would have been the only difference, I think. Now, on the other side, it would have been Jackson would have played at the Chargers, I believe. You can fact check me on that one, Reuters, but I believe that's probably true.
Reuters.
I think that would be something to look at. But winning division should get you in the playoffs, I think.
Let's talk about the last team in the NFC there, the Niners. What are your thoughts on the whole? You're just breaking down the entire bracket. I apologize for cutting you off and asking about the playoff situation, but there's some the NFC right now, there's some fucking buzzsaws over there in your guys' conference. Niners, Eagles, obviously with the Cowboys doing their thing. How do you see it going?
Well, I think every team left in the playoffs has some flaws. I don't think there's anybody who's unbeatable on both sides. I think there's been some inconsistent play on at least one side of the ball for just about every team left in the playoffs. But the NFC will be interesting matchups because you have the Giants playing Philly, and they've played twice already. The Giants didn't play anybody, it seemed like, in the last week of the season, or just sparingly, and battled and only lost by, 10, I believe, and played them. And then you have San Fran and Dallas on the other side, which is a really interesting matchup. You got a rookie quarterback on one side. You have Dak, who played excellent the other night, and their defense under Dan Quinn, which has been which was really good the other night as well. But San Fran has listen, you look at the roster, as opposed to the Giants roster, you look at the roster in San Fran, you got one of the best two-way backs in the league. You got one of the best tight ends in the league. You have maybe the best playmaker in the league in Debo. Probably the best defense player in the league, at least top 5 consistently every single year. Maybe the best middle linebacker in the league. There's a lot of talent on that side.
About Brock Purdy, what do you think of Brock Purdy and his success?
He's dealing.
I think he's done a nice job taking care of the football and making plays. I think Kyle has definitely shown he can call plays with a number of different quarterbacks, different styles. But I watched Brock. He came in the preseason in our game and moved him right down the field and threw a touchdown pass. And I was like, man, that was a nice drive. Preseason, but to show when you're I think he was the third guy at that point, to show that you can come in and move the football effectively and go up and down the field, that was impressive. And then obviously when you're playing with confidence compared to when you're playing with no experience and kind of winging it, it's a whole different ball game. And he's playing with a lot of confidence right now. There's obviously, like I said, a lot of weapons, but he's taking care of the football well, and that's going to be important against Dallas because Dallas will throw a lot of things at you, and they got a lot of guys that can catch the ball on defense. A lot of guys who can make plays on the football. So it should be a really interesting game. But he obviously played really, really well in the first week.
He's awesome to watch too. He's got this moxie, Aaron. And for being Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick. And allegedly, the story coming out of high school is that Saban, he had an offer for Alabama out of Scottsdale, I think. Is that where he's from?
Yeah, like somewhere
Gilbert.
in
He's
Arizona.
Gilbert.
Arizona?
Yeah, Gilbert, Arizona.
Gilbert, Arizona. Gets an offer to Alabama, goes and meets with Saban. Saban says, all right, we'll be able to get you better. All right, we think your accuracy needs to get a little better. You need to beard a little bit. And allegedly, he came back and told Iowa State, that guy doesn't know ball. Accuracy is literally the thing that I am the best at. That seems to be a trait that the great quarterbacks have, and then if you don't have, the NFL can expose you. Is that an accurate depiction, you think? And is that why you think Purdy's having the success that he's having, and why some guys don't have the same success as others?
Listen, for as many blue chippers who've had success in the league, there's been as many and often more who were not that. We're not the number one prospect coming out of their high school. We're not the number one guy coming out of college and the first pick in the draft. Obviously, about Tom. He was 198 different options to take him. Joe Montana was the same way. He was passed up by a ton of people. Like I said, for as many Peyton Manning, first pick in the drafts, there's been a ton of these other guys. And what it does is create this chip. And the chip can be an excellent motivator for the right disposition that feels like they need a little bit extra at various times during their career, or even in just a workout. The thought to motivate you a little bit more or inspire you, I think, is really, really important to success of people who can do that. Michael Jordan, used to make things up, I think, at times to be motivated, but he was also cut from his high school team. That's a pretty good motivator. But Brock was passed over by a ton of people. He went to Iowa State, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Because Lazard's always hyping him. He has a lifetime worth of slights that he can pull from, and obviously the moxie part, I think, is one really, really important thing. I love to use that word because I love to use that word when talking about personality, and it's hard to define what exactly that is, but it's that kind of it factor that encompasses, I think, a lot of different things. How you handle your day-to-day, like setting a huddle, bringing energy to practice, confidence, mastery of the offense, dealing with the media, dealing with your teammates, bringing people together, all those different things that make up an important part of the quarterback position that not every guy has. And some of it is just stuff you have, personality, likability, humor, charisma, all those different things. And some of it you can work on for sure. But he obviously has that moxie, and you can see it with his teammates. They love playing with him and hyping him up in the media and talking about him glowingly. And so I have nothing but respect for the way he's played. And,
Hell yeah.
And I love seeing the underdog. I mean, I feel like that was part of my career for a long time. Obviously different. I was picked in the first round, not the last pick. But I did go to junior college and dealt with that frustration that turned into definitely a chip I could deal with. And so a ton of respect for guys who deal with adversity and turn into a positive, and obviously Brock has done that.
Hell yeah, Brock. That was awesome to hear you say that. I assume he's going to be pumped to hear that as well. Go ahead, AJ.
Well, last thing for me, Aaron. I know you normally don't throw in the offseason. You don't throw the football around. Is this offseason going to be any different? Do you have to throw around a little bit, see if that shoulder reacts like you wanted to, and that elbow and that thumb and the COVID toe? And also, why do you tuck these two little baby pillows under your arm? Is that some kind of recovery trick I don't know about?
That's a good question there. Good
Both
journalism.
arms, left and right.
Yeah, you reset it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's more of a comfort thing. I can kind of rest my elbows on these pillows, and it just feels better. Where I can kind of be in a semi-slump position. You know, I could sit up real tall, and then my elbows, what do you kind of do with them? They're kind of resting kind of in a weird spot. It doesn't really feel as comfortable. So thanks for that question. Usually I got my two, white and blue pillows in Green Bay. Don't have the same options here, unfortunately.
Oh,
is that for the Colts? You have Colts pillows?
No, they're rebuilding. He said
We're not rebuilding. Colts are not rebuilding. We got a full roster ready to go.
You'd love to play for Jeff.
I don't like misinformation. We don't know who the head coach. Oh, is that what the pillows look like? Is that the same color as the pillows? It feels like it.
I mean, blue's my favorite color, but
Sir, do I have something to tell you? There's a lot of blue in this here town, pal. That's right. Come on.
Are they redoing that field though, just to make FIFA standards or not?
Well, we didn't get a World
some
Cup
of those
turned
teams,
up.
just to get that FIFA bid. We can change our field to specifications of FIFA.
How about that? For soccer players, they're doing it. Soccer players. Jeez. Not for you guys, though. Not for Bakhtiaris of the world. He was pissed.
Bach he's a big stomper for that. Not a big stomper for, draconian vax mandates and different things. But if you start talking about, what the field conditions should be, he's going to be right at the front lines.
interesting.
Yeah. But, lack of informed consent and, zero, tested vaccines, he'll be the first one in line.
It sounds like that has been some conversation that have been had between you and your left tackle off the field, and
we had a lot of time in that cart that he bought me to discuss the world and all the many interesting topics.
Well, we try to broach all of them here on Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, and I think you'll be back next week. Yeah.
I would love to. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Shit.
Go.
All right, so we won't do a book today because we've kept you long enough. Let's do a book next week, though, to wrap up season 3 here of Aaron Rodgers.
Well, let's not say wrap up. We might do one more after this, okay? But we'll do a book next week for sure.
Oh, shit!
Let's go.
That'll give me a lot of time to
watch whales.
To get through a couple books. I got like 10 in the stack right now, and it's hard to choose just one. But I'll have some books ready to finish this thing up.
Hey, the ball is here. And I'm pumped for that. You throw like a dart, right? Is that what you're doing when you throw the ball? You seem to have a different throwing motion than everybody else. Is that what you're doing? Or do you even think? You don't even think?
I don't think. I don't really think about it a whole lot. I think about trajectory and speed and those things, but it just comes kind of comes out. Listen, there's a lot of great throwers, there's not. There's a few really great throwers of the football. And I just want to plug this one just because I love this kid so much. But I enjoy watching Josh Allen play football. That's fun to watch.
How about that Dawson Knox touchdown over the shoulder of that guy?
That was a great one. But to me, it's the flat foot in the pocket throwing the ball to big game. What's his name? Gabe Davis. Yeah, that to me was the best throw. It was he makes some really kind of for him probably normal plays that most people just can't do. So I really enjoy watching him play. I love watching Pat play too because Pat does so many different things, and he's fun to watch. But I just love Josh is a buddy of mine, and I think how he's handled everything. Look at this throw. I mean, it's just kind of bouncing. Let me just put a dime here, just right in the corner of the end zone.
Great catch.
Great feet by Davis there, but he just kind of does this with ease. So
what's that? Middle of the field to the sideline. What's from the 30-yard line? That's like a 50-yard ball right there?
I don't know about that. Let's do Pythagorean theorem. We're talking about like 26 squared plus 30 squared.
99,000.
Equals what? Then do the square root of that.
So that's like 40-some yards.
43 and a half.
40-some
repeating.
yards. But anyways, off the back foot, is there any throws? Is there guys and you don't have to name them, obviously, but there's guys that you have a different respect for, obviously, with their arm. Do you tell them personally, like, and do they tell you? Do you guys have like a, yep, we know.
You can sling that
Yep,
thing.
yep, we know. Is there that type of group text situation going on with a few of you guys?
That's just understood.
Yeah,
It's just implicitly understood. I don't think you need to do that. And it's implicitly understood the other way as well.
Yeah, you know, I know, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, this guy we're talking to, definitely quarterback in the NFL. Also, child police.
Not like us.
I can't tell.
You play darts? You good at darts?
Yes, I do enjoy darts.
Dude, we got to get you one of those European things. Could you fucking fathom? Oh, triple the ball.
180!
And then ball.
Some of those guys, I mean, it's a little ridiculous, that triple 20, 12, 20, which reminds me of that great, awesome quote that I'll leave you with today.
Here we go.
Darts, right? Be curious, not judgmental.
Hell
From
yeah.
Ted Lasso. If you want a little pick me up today, go and watch that. And that's great life advice for all of us to go through life and to be curious about things, not judgmental. To be interested in opinions that aren't necessarily jive with you right away, and maybe don't jive with the mainstream narrative that was, crammed down our throat for so long. Let's be curious about people, about things that are new to us, about things that we might not agree with right off the bat, and not judgmental, because that's how we're going to become a society of better people, and not just jump right to canceling and ousting people who don't look like us, talk like us, or believe exactly the same thing that we believe. And be curious, not judgmental world, and the world will be a little bit better place, I think.
Hell yeah, Aaron. Thank you, Ted. Also, you're allowed to disagree forever, too, and just move on. It's crazy.
That's great. It's awesome, right?
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck whale watching, and good luck with the decision that is obviously massive for you, for the football world, and for the Packers. We appreciate the hell out of you, buddy.
Please come back.
Yeah, let me just, there won't be a decision next week. So, tune in if you want to hear some great banter, some interesting insights.
Hell yeah.
Maybe a question from AQ at some point. We're still waiting on.
No chance.
But
He didn't have one today.
Yeah.
I did have one. I didn't get asked.
Whoa! Do you really? Do you really? Go ahead.
save it for next week, AQ.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Tease,
shut your
tease.
trap. All right.
But
It's not real.
But there
keep
won't
it in the
be,
chamber.
some massive decision next week that happens. I'm going to enjoy this week and take care of myself and do some reading and some relaxing and check in with some of my teammates and then can't wait to talk next week and see you all again.
Hell yeah. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. Thank you, buddy.